So now we're getting to the course, or the stage of this section at least, where we're going to start putting a few principles into practice, all right? I've shared with you a lot of ideas, a lot of information so far, and a lot of the ideas have been quite big ones as well, especially if you've not been subjected to this way of thinking before in the past. So now I have guided you through, I've explained and we've unpacked and explored the various cognitive biases, right? Attitudes that we can take towards life. We've looked at cognitive distortions as defined and broken down by Mr. Aaron Beck. And I want to now revisit this model. This is the ABCs of CBT, because this is kind of our bread and butter tool as cognitive behavioral therapists or aspiring cognitive behavioral therapists. Now, the theme of this course, I'm sure you might be getting a little bit sick and tired of me saying by now, but I'm definitely here to impress this upon you. Practice what you preach, all right? Put principles into practice within yourself first and foremost, because it's this that will give you the competence and the insight and the understanding to start sharing these principles and practices with other people, all right? So, just to revisit this idea for a second before I introduce you to the practical exercise. We understand most people get caught up in how they feel in life, don't they? It's not like people generally get stuck in the past. People don't just look at things that have happened to them. Activating life events are always things that have happened earlier today or at some point earlier in life. It's all to do with our history. It's all to do with our past. Relationships, conversations that we've had, life experiences, events, sometimes expectations not being met, and so on and so forth. And when we perceive these past life events, or these activating life events, as being negative by nature or positive, some sort of emotion will attach itself to the event. This is how we remember these things, all right? So when we are not aware of how it is that we cognitively process experiences and events, it can be very, very easy to fall into the trap of assuming that events make us feel. So our events and experiences in life equal and result in our emotional consequences. But now we know that's not the case because people distort themselves, all right? So now we have looked at how it is that our beliefs, our thoughts, our assumptions, our interpretations, judgments, and our general attitude plays a part, if not the most prominent role, in determining how it is that we perceive our life's events, relationships, and experiences, all right? So, what we want to do now is we want to take a little look at you, all right? The purpose of this exercise is to really get in you now working through this process for yourself, all right? What I'm going to ask you to do, and if you look at the last workbook that you downloaded and printed off, the Cognitive Distortions, on the back page of that resource, there's a little diagram, just kind of a few boxes: positive life event, negative life event, limiting belief, emotional consequence. This is about you now working through and better understanding and reinterpreting your own past events if necessary, all right? So first things first, what I'm going to ask you to do is just think about the last really positive life experience that you had, right? Could be a wedding day, just a day where you felt on top of the world, all right? And focus right in on the emotion, how you were feeling that day. And just write it down, take note of it, or do whatever you've got to do. If you want to follow along in the workbook, please do. If not, this is one that you can just do just in your own mind without writing it down. So what I'm going to say here is that we only ever really remember those past life events that have some sort of prominent emotional attachment to them, positive or negative. We remember highs, we remember lows, but we might find it difficult to remember what we had for breakfast 3 weeks ago. Why? Because we're kind of indifferent to that kind of stuff. Breakfast doesn't give us an emotional buzz. All right, so we'll remember the best days of our lives and we'll also remember the worst. So I'm asking you to remember and think about how you're feeling, and I'm also asking you to just recall this past life event. Now, this is how you'll remember the past life event. But what I want you to do now, all right, just before I stop speaking and end this video, is take as long as you need to explore what cognitive distortion might have come into play that day, all right? That might have been limiting by nature. Now, this might sound and seem like a funny or an unusual thing to say, because surely if we have positive events, that can only be because of a positive or a useful cognitive process that we went through in our minds, but not necessarily. It might be the case that the only reason this event was, or we perceived this event as being a positive one, was because we were validated in this in some way. We got it right, we chose the right team, we were proved to be accurate, or we got what we wanted, or something like this. All right, now I'm not saying that a cognitive bias was, or a cognitive distortion definitely came into play that day, but what I'm inviting you to do is have a look and see, all right? See if you can start building your B's into your emotional interpretations of your past life events. Because it's easy just saying that day was good because it made me feel happy, all right? But now, just spend 5 to 10 minutes reflecting on this event and see if you can establish what the B was. What was the belief? What was the assumption? What was the cognitive bias? What box did you get ticked? What made the event such a happy one for you? Why was this such a positive, memorable day or event or experience for you? Know thyself, my friend. All right, so take a few minutes, reflect for as long as you need to, and then in the next clip, we're going to come back and do the same thing, except we're going to look for more of a negative event or experience, all right? Just to help you identify and probably better appreciate how it is that our cognitive distortions, the way in which we interpret our life's events, determines whether we perceive them as being positive, negative, good, bad, right, wrong, healthy, unhealthy, or whatever. We do this all in our own minds. So take a few minutes, reflect, see what answers you come up with, and I'll see you again in the next clip.